Good day. Our subject is history, and we are doing our content in grade 6. And our topic is democracy and citizenships. And our content area is how people govern themselves in a democracy. And our background information, it's South Africa, how South Africa became a democratic country, how it started, and when. All of this had started in 1994. That's when South Africa became a democratic country, which was led by the late President Nelson Mandela, which South Africa fought. So after he became a president, the apartheid ended. It was now there were rights, there was equality to all the blacks and the whites and the Indians and the colors. There were no discrimination between each other. So our main focus is the meaning of democracy and good citizenship. We will cover the topic of how people govern themselves in a democracy or in our national government. We'll also cover the content of the first government in South Africa, whom we have said it was the late Nelson Mandela. So we will have to demonstrate. We will talk about what has happened during the areas during the time. So in those times, it was a country. South Africa is a country of struggle during those back of those years before 1994, which it was introduced by the black South African government or president. So in those years, from the 1993 to those back years, South Africa was a country whereby people struggled. It was a country whereby blacks, mostly I'll focus on the blacks couldn't do things what they do now. The black people are now free. Everybody is now free because South Africa is a free country where you can do whatever you want to do. But even though you want to do what you want to do, but it is a free country, everyone has its rights. And nowadays, South Africa has become a great country, which they also introduce their rules, which there are rights for children, there are rights for learners. Each and every citizen of South Africa has its rights. You also have rights of community, of learners, each of child's rights, which are by the children at home, they have their own rights, which the mother or the parents know that those kids have rights, because nowadays a parent cannot hit a child, a teacher cannot hit a child, which if a teacher can do that means the child has a right to go and report to the police station, obviously. So now we look into the terms of South Africa has reached its content of what has happened those times. South Africa has reached that manifesting of that during those times it was time struggle. But when we visit today's time, there's a lot of different from what we look at from those times and now. So now it's a lot different. So while we also focus on the main character, the main thing of our country, which our country is today like this because of Nelson Mandela. It all started when it was 1994. Everything was free. Everyone has its own things. So South Africa has been a country that has struggled a lot. So which now it is a country which you cannot struggle, which you can do what you want to do, which we uplift that it should be what it is today because of the late Nelson Mandela. So we are grateful for that opportunity that has been granted to us as South Africans, and also we have struggled years ago, but now we are not struggling, even though we are struggling, but it is minor things. It is not the same as those years when we have struggled. So the learners will cover all the content of democracy and citizenships. The learners will have to look into information and affordability. The learners were able to cover all the contents of democracy and citizenship, and also they were also able to write essays about it, which they'll also go and find more information on internet to go and search about the biography of Nelson Mandela. They'll also search the focus on democracy and a growth in citizenship. They'll also go and focus on the main things that has happened in South Africa, and they'll eventually know the history of South Africa. And when they are now in grade 6, they will now know the meaning, the history of South Africa before reaching those higher grades of grade 7, 8 until grade 12, which when they reach those grades, they will now have an introduction of the information of what is left out to continue with the history of South Africa. And now we'll be dealing with the learners with special needs. To this topic, learners with special needs, they will be held. The school offers programs that will help them to how to write. There are teachers who are helping those learners with special needs, which the teacher that will be teaching that subject, which is history, has to be patient, which is helping those learners has to have patience. You have to be patient with them. You have to help them, but there are times during break times or after school that those learners with special needs are helped out so that they can be learn with their writing skills, because somehow there are learners at school or in a class that can talk and write while the teacher is writing on a board, but cannot spell those words that the teacher has written, which is quite a challenging to learners when they reach the higher grades. That's when it becomes a problem, when they are good at speaking but they cannot write. So those learners are being helped. Those learners are going to be assisted with those programs that will be at schools. But unfortunately, not all schools are having all those programs. They are not all of schools have teachers who deal with those kind of kids. But we want to say, as teachers, they must make sure that they help learners. They make sure that those learners build their vocabulary, their writing skills, so that they can know about history of South Africa, so they can know each and everything that is in that book of South Africa. Thank you.